Meanwhile, Cobra Commander is also on trial. He's not going to get sent to a wrestler's training facility. Instead, we get a heaping pile of exposition from Globulus about just what these people are. It turns out this is Cobra Law, and they were the dominant force on Earth before man rose. They're reptilian, but when the Ice Age hit, they went underground and mankind became dominant in their place, using their abominable artificial technology rather than homegrown organic living creatures. This is the Yuuzhan Vong thing. Although, to be fair, this was way before the Yuuzhan Vong on Star Wars and could very well have influenced the creation of the Yuuzhan Vong. Either way, I find them creepy and interesting as villains, although I understand a lot of people find them shark jumping. So they plan to use special mutating spores set up into space and come down and cover the entire Earth and mutate all of mankind into brute lizard beasts who will no longer be dominant, no longer be a threat, then Cobra Law can take over the world.
Everybody got that?
And the broadcast energy transmitter is the key to doing this. Although no one seems to point out the irony that the key to your plan to stop all this inorganic technology is a piece of inorganic technology.
Shh! Don't point out our hypocriting!
Apparently Cobra Commander was a member of this Cobra Law race, sent in as an advanced agent to destabilize human governments through the device of Cobra. Obviously not what was intended from the very beginning, but myself, I think this is a clever retcon, even though, again, a lot of people do hate it.
What about my trial?
It's over, and the verdict is guilty. Guilty of the one unforgivable crime, failure.
And as punishment for his many failures, Cobra Commander is mutated by these spores and becomes a taste of what mankind will become if they cannot be stopped. Then he's locked up with the Joes.
A trifle melodramatic, but instructive.
I'm sorry, Globulus, did you just call someone else melodramatic? You? Really? Meanwhile, in the desert, Falcon gets dropped off, literally, and meets his fellow slaughterhouse trainees.
Say hello to Mercer, ex-Cobra Viper who's seen the light.
Did that scorpion just honk?
Red Dog booted out of pro football for unnecessary roughness. And Taurus, a circus acrobat with a few loose bats in his big top.
Don't worry, they didn't make action figures of these guys for a long time, so you don't need to know who they are.
Let's head for the slaughterhouse. Grab your gear and start hot-footing it. If you're gonna be there in time for breakfast, it's a long haul.
And so begins Falcon's hellish training. Back in the Cobra Law hideaway, the Joes, when they're dropping Cobra Commander off, manage to fight their way out of prison, but they get captured, and only Roadblock escapes it because he listens to Cobra Commander. The two escape together. Roadblock, however, is blinded in the escape attempt, and so now he and Cobra Commander really have to work together just to stay alive. Cobra Commander can't survive without help, and Roadblock can't see. And I know it's been done to death, but I don't care, I'm still using this music. And as the spores begin to launch and go into orbit, the Cobras go out to capture the BET. Again. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander starts with this bit.
I was once a man. A man.
Hope you like it. At the slaughterhouse, Falcon gets a bit of a training montage. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as much. We don't get to see that much character growth. But suffice it to say, he's already a lot less of a numbnut than he was. Sergeant Slaughter and his men get assigned to infiltrate the Terradrome because they need to find out just what's going on while they hide away the BET.
Think of it as an extra rough training exercise.
Training, huh? Then why don't we leave our weapons behind and make it really educational?
Now that's what I call a challenge. No weapons. Let's move out.
What?
You're going to risk a critical mission failure on this this is an important mission, not a training exercise, and you're going to risk it just because you want to make it tougher? Are you that insecure that you will risk all of this on the dare of a chucklefuck?
Now that's what I call a challenge.
At the secret warehouse that the Baron has managed to figure out, I swear the women in G.I. Joe are like Laserbeak. You need to guard against them. No girls allowed. It's not working for you. Our guys sneak into the Terradrome and learn about the plan to get the BET. And although Falcon does sincerely try, he's not able to get the word out to warn Duke and the others before all their explosives go off and they have to escape. And so now Cobra attacks. Again. And the new recruits get left behind at first. And then they manage to join the fight, just in time to see Cobra Law using... Alright, Kim, okay, we're doing this. Get a load of the enemy!
Man, Cobra Law is jacked up. And apparently jacking off.
Hold out, man. The enemy will soon become very sleepy.
Keep doing that. Your ocular enhancements are gonna fail.
You'll grow hair on your trigger fingers.
I guess Shipwreck's not the only seaman anymore.
We'll let Frodo finish this out.
It's sticky. What is it?
The new kids finally get going and get shot down. This battle has been a total disaster and Cobra's getting everything.
Cobra! La, 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 la.
Please don't do that again. And now it's time for some more creepy living war machines. And I can't get enough of these things myself.
I can.
Cobra Law manages to get the BET, but Duke will not give up.
These things aren't invulnerable after all! At last! What?
Sergeant Slaughter's guys manage to show up and...
Cobra! La, 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 la.
I asked you so nicely. Falcon faces down with Serpentor, but Duke gets in the way and takes the snake meant for him.
That should sound more dramatic, but it mostly sounds silly.
And so Duke dies.
No. He goes into a coma.
Let me explain this. You see, after so many kids responded so bad to the Transformers the movie, this was actually going to be in the theaters and it was taken out because of this. And Duke, instead of having a noble heroic death, was instead falling into a coma, which he will recover with at the end of the movie. Because that's what war is about. War is about getting knocked out for a while and then finally coming back, like a good Halo game. And the thing is, as I said with Transformers, this didn't need to be a problem, because this is what Transformers should have been. Yeah, you can take your main heroes out of commission to introduce your new guys, but you don't have to brutally execute them like this. And this movie doesn't execute them. They have one character death, and it's Duke, and it's meaningful, it's mourned, it's grieved, it has weight, it accomplished something. Kids can live with that, they can work with that. You just have to not handle it so irresponsibly like they did in Transformers, and G.I. Joe wasn't being irresponsible, but they got all the penalty of Transformers' irresponsibility, and so they had to really cheese up their movie because of that.
He's gone into a coma.
So Serpentor brings the BET back to the Cobra Law hideaway, and now we have a ticking clock as they activate the BET to mature the spores in orbit.
When this time worm completes its journey, the pods will ripen, and their spores will burst forth.
And this pitiful planet will be ours.
Trifle melodramatic.
One good thing is that this does allow the Joes to track down just where the BET is because of its energy, and so now they know where Cobra Law's hideaway is, and they plan a major offensive with what soldiers they have left.
The 6 of you still lack experience.
I have a right.
What you have is an order, G.I. Joe. Besides, we need someone to guard the base and try to contact Flint.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, back to Was Once a Man, the musical.
Useless. Oh, useless. I was a man. Yes. Oh, yes. I was a man. I was a man. Yes.
Stop saying that, you hear you making me crazy.
Was a man. Was a man. Was a man. Was once a man.
They literally stumble into Flint's rescue group, and now we have another group ready to go into Cobra Law's hideaway. Roadblock tries to command that main offensive force coming into Cobra Law, but it's too late, and now they're on their way.
We're gonna need another Timmy. We're gonna need another Timmy.
Flint leads the next generation to Cobra Law. We find out that Roadblock's blindness will be curable, but Cobra Commander will never be a human again. At least not until Transformers the series, when in the future we see that he has become human again.
They simply don't make terrorists like they used to.
Cobra Commander can't help them get in because of his state, but Tunnel Rat's able to just tunnel in. And another battle begins, but this time the newbies are able to use a kamikaze attack and they free all the other Joes. And now we've got all our action figures dumped out and ready to smash together. I don't have any G.I. Joes to hit together. And it's a big rush to the end when we find...
Ew, 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 ew. No. Why? Oh. Please, no more.
Oscar and Kim does not like creepy critters.
Ew, 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 ew.
There!
Obliterate them!
Now, in a bit of a contrived but awesomely contrived way, our three major characters, Sergeant Slaughter, Falcon, and Jinx, manage to get in and face down against the three Cobra Law enemies. Each one gets their designated fight, and I love this stuff. I love when you get the character fighting the character and they duel. That's what great action is when it's about what the characters are doing.
And of course, we had to have one chick in here to fight the evil chick. Can't have a dude puncher.
Your brother fell before my wrath, and so shall you!
How'd you know he was my brother? Luckily, even Cobra Commander manages to finish out his sad little character arc and play a part in taking out the other snake so that Falcon can continue beating Serpentor.
This is for Gung-Ho, Alpine, and Bazooka! This is for Falcon! This is for me! This is for Duke!
And that's for my own gather!
Falcon!
Of course, Falcon has a level 2 boss to fight, Globulus.
I will stain my hands with your blood!
Oh, crap. Apparently he's a snake tar. Wow, Sunbow just loves blinding people and talking about blinding people.
I'll rip out your optics!
I'll turn your eyeballs inside out.
Falcon manages to get on the BET and shut it down, but unfortunately it's too late. The spores have now matured.
You have lost, G.I. Joe! Lost!
So, he cleverly reverses his thinking, turns the BET on full blast to try to burn the spores up before they can actually get into the atmosphere. He succeeds, and he's even willing to die to accomplish a mission, which shows that he really has grown as a character, even if it's been in spurts. Oh, not that kind of spurt. Throughout the story. Sergeant Slaughter and Jinx work together and manage to save him, and Cobra Law goes all Mordor on the joint.
Duke's come out of his coma.
Yeah, I already talked about this. No consequences for war and all that, whatever. Duke's dead and it was a good death. Let it go. And much as Independence Day would a decade later, we end the movie heroically watching as our enemy forces burn up in the atmosphere. And that was G.I. Joe the movie. Again, I love this movie. It's excellent. It did everything that Transformers did right, but it didn't make any of the mistakes that Transformers made. And of all these properties, I probably like G.I. Joe the least, but yet they made the best movie. And sadly, theirs was one most deserving of being in the theaters and didn't get in there because of those aforementioned mistakes of Transformers. So, that brings us to the end of the autumn of the 80s. Tune in next time and we'll probably watch some weird sci-fi show about a starship exploring or something like that. I think I've heard of a show like that. We'll see you then.